Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I'm Rachel Brady. This is Really Well Rachel. It's had a few different iterations, but I've just recently gone back to Really Well Rachel because it seems to make sense. And I make content on home and well-being, and it's all brought together with a little bit of consciousness too nowadays. So this video today is about how to combat not enoughness. So if that's interesting to you, then stay tuned. So the idea for this video just came about kind of impromptu today, just while I was reflecting about something that happened yesterday. So I actually just shared on my stories on Instagram, follow me over there at Really Well Rachel. And I reflected that yesterday I had a bit of a moment in Marks and Spencer's when I was like trying on some clothes and just feeling a little bit sad. Like, I'm a really body positive person. It's part of that part of me I'm really proud of as well, because I genuinely love all shapes and sizes, and that includes my own in every part of my life. However, I'm not immune from, culture's idealized notions of beauty and weight and all those things, right? I mean, I'm 44, our bodies change. So I left all the stuff in Marks and Spencer's and just like walked out. I was like, oh, don't feel good, I'm gonna go. And I could actually feel some emotions building up. And so in the last few years, I've done a lot of training. I've done some training as a mind body practitioner, as a yoga teacher, Reiki training, aromatherapy, lots of things. And I've really learned some tools, and they come in really handy just in everyday life. And so what I did was this, and this is what I want to share with you today. I used some really simple tools just to bring myself back to me. And so I want to share them with you now. So how to combat not enoughness. So the first thing I did, I got in the car, and when I felt kind of safe and I wasn't like around loads of people, I just took a deep breath and I acknowledged how I was feeling, and I gave it words. So I was like feeling very like not enough, and it was like, what type of not enough? So I acknowledged I didn't feel pretty enough, like I didn't feel thin enough, and it was really hard because, like I say, I kind of pride myself on like not being sucked into all of that, but I don't think anybody's immune. And so I voiced it out loud, and I thought, no, there's more. And I'm working through some stuff at the minute, trying to bring some of my learnings to the table in offerings for people. But I feel like this constant feeling of I'm not clever enough, I'm not skilled enough. It's all the same thing, I'm not enough, right? So I voiced those things out too. And then I also thought, oh, there's more. I'm really irritable at the moment, and that's been coming out as it always does with the people you love most. So like really irritable with the kids. And being aware of it, but almost like trying, like I can't control it sometimes. And I'm looking into HRT. That's a whole other video, and hopefully I'll get some this week. So there's that, it's giving yourself that compassion. So the things that were coming up for me were, I'm not thin or pretty enough. I'm not clever or skilled enough. I'm not kind enough. Those three things were coming up. The second step is just to come back into your body. So I've learned a lot of like somatic tools. I do this quite a lot. Like, it feels like it's in my heart. So it's like we don't want that energy to be stuck. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a... And remember, you're crying as well. And crying is like actually really good for you. I was at an event recently where they said, hands up if you cried today. Hands up if you cried yesterday. I was like, this is embarrassing. Like, hands up, hands up, hands up. And then she said, you know what? I want to congratulate you if you cried, because crying is it's like a somatic tool. So somatic just means of the body. And we're realizing now that so much of our mental health and well-being and stuff, we're always in here, right? We're always pathologizing, we're conceptualizing, we're diagnosing. But actually, so much wisdom is in our body. And so what happens when you cry, I did not know this until recently, when you cry, you're releasing cortisol. And so it's actually really, really nice. I said to someone about a week before that, I actually like crying. Like when it feels like a release, it's good for you. So yeah, so if you want to cry, cry. If you want to do this, if you want to just be like, oh, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Like, like that. And you'll feel silly and you might make yourself laugh, and that's good. The next thing is to release it. And I guess that's what a lot of the somatic work is about. So it's like shake it out, release it, release it, release it. Come back to your body, whether that's crying, jumping, having a little walk, scream. You might even like to write it out, like write these things down. And the next thing is, and this is the kind of final part, bringing it back to you, is flipping it over. So positive affirmations are like very well used in positive psychology and sports psychology and all sorts of things. And you say them as though you are those things in the present moment. So we're going to revisit the 3 things that I was thinking of. And what we also need to do is acknowledge that that voice that's in your head saying those things isn't you. When you start to realize that the voices in your head, you've got like a permanent flatmate in your head, and it's the voice, right? It's the voice, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's annoying, and it's a little bit of both. And sometimes that voice is the inner critic, okay? And in reparenting, you call this the inner critical parent. Don't think that that's literally your parent, but it's like this voice. And actually the inner critic and the inner critical parent actually is trying to protect you a lot of the time. So we don't want to be like, F off inner critic parent. We're like, thank you for giving me that information. Thank you. I think you're trying to protect me by saying you're not enough in these areas. I hear you, but I'm not going to take that on. So we flip it to the inner loving parent. So it's, what would the inner loving parent say? So it's your kindest, most compassionate voice. It's not deluded. It's not going to come up with a load of nonsense that's not true. So let's start with the first one. It was, I'm not thin enough, I'm not pretty enough. It might say something like this. You're 44 years old. You've had 3 kids. You're healthy. You've given up drinking. You do yoga. Your body is amazing. Yeah, sure. So it doesn't look like you did in the 90s, but that's not the stage of life that you're at. You still look great. Your goodness shines through. You are beautiful. You are enough. Okay, so let's do it with the second one, which was like the imposter syndrome, right? So like clever enough, all those things. So it's like, you absolutely are good enough to deliver some things if that's what you want to do. You've learned so much in the last few years. And most of all, you've got lived experience. So you're like talking to yourself, right? You're talking to yourself. You're bringing yourself back down off the ledge. And all this can be happening up here, right? I was driving my car home and it was, actually, I sometimes like to just voice it though as well, give it a voice. So I will say the words out loud. And the last one was, you're not kind enough, right? So the last one was more to do with, being irritable and snappy and things like that. So it's like, gosh, you've got 3 kids, you've got a lot on, you're probably perimenopausal, give yourself a break, your kids know that they love you. It's this type of voice, right? So it's reassuring, it's nurturing, and you finish with, I am kind enough. And then you just revisit those affirmations. You might just have one, but I was just having a bad day and I had 3. So it's like, you are beautiful enough. You are clever enough. You are kind enough. You are enough. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it's useful to you. Really simple techniques that I've learned and that really helped me. And just be kind to yourself and don't try and hold yourself in unrealistic expectations that aren't real, that don't exist. We're all feeling similar feelings, and just acknowledge your beautiful humanness. Leave a comment below to say hi. It feels really good to be back, and I'm gonna upload a video. I was gonna say try then, but I'm gonna upload a video every Wednesday, and we're gonna do some content on well-being, some holy stuff with you.